Hello ladies, I think we're live. I'm just going to switch on the computer and check. Yay! Oh, that was fast. It wasn't the normal half a minute or anything. So welcome to our Facebook Live tonight. I'm going to be making this little pocket card, and I put this as the background for it as a little teaser to see if you could guess which paper we were using. And I know Judy posted, she thought it was Expressions in Ink. And I think it was Jane who said In Good Taste. So I'm going to leave it there just for a second or two until I know everybody can see me before I tell you what it really is. So they were very close, but not quite right yet. So now it's getting really dark here. Have you got the clouds, Judy? Looks like it could be a big storm any moment, looking at the back. Hi Laurie, hi Jane. So, are the clouds over Sunset as well, Laurie? Looking out of my window, it's sort of clearer up towards the ranch house, but it's very black. So let's see. So, as I said earlier, just before Laurie joined us, this was a clue as to which paper I'm using, and Jane thought it was In Good Taste and Judy thought it was Expressions in Ink, but actually it's neither of those. They're beautiful papers, but it's not those. It's this one. So, and this is from the Simply Elegant set, and let me show you in the catalogue. I love this paper. And I've just sent out my team cards where we're going to make a project together, and this is one of the pieces that's in it. Well, even if you've only got a few minutes, Laurie, thank you ever so much for joining us. How did the birthday boy get on? Did he have fun? So I'm just going to find where this sweet is. Oh, look, there it is. So it's called Simply Elegant, and for once I'm actually using everything. And I know you probably can't believe that, but I'm using the designer series paper, I'm going to use the punch, and I'm going to use the stamp set too. And the paper is so pretty. It's one of the speciality papers. Oh, his birthday's Friday. You just had to make the cupcakes early, did you? Oh, he'll have a lovely day. So this is the Simply Elegant paper, and because it's a speciality, let me turn it round so you can see. It says speciality, and that means something special about the paper. Now, all of our paper is special, but if it says speciality, it usually means it has like a gold foiling or some kind of accents on. This one's got like a copper accent and a gold one on this piece, and the backs don't have the accent on. So, but you can see it's all beautiful, beautiful shiny paper. So, and the one I'm going to use is this one. And I'm going to make a fairly male-oriented card, sort of a more masculine one anyway. So let me just pop that paper down because I don't need the rest of the pack. So I'm going to use this paper, and on the back it has like a silver and a gold, and I'm going to pick out the gold accent. And this is the twine that comes with that same suite. I don't think I told you that there was twine, did I? Let me just find the page again. So the suite for $79.75 comes with the stamps, the punch, the paper, and the trim. Now it's difficult to see on here that it's got trim, but it's this like corded, oh, last day at day home, oh, poor thing, but he'll have a fantastic time at school, right? He'll enjoy it. So there's a silver and a gold in there. I don't know if you can see, it's not like a ribbon, it's more like a metallic cord, but it ties really nice bows and things, so I quite like that, and I've used it on a few projects already. Now what did have me stumped was this little picture, because I thought, well, they haven't, that paper isn't in the pack, so where have they got that from? And then I realised that actually it's one of the sets of boxes that you can buy. So I looked at that for ages though, trying to work out how they'd made that. But in the packaging, it's these little gold and white boxes. So don't look through the catalogue wondering how they made that like I did, because there it is. It's on a different page. So, okay, let's pop that down. And we're going to make a little pocket card. Now this, when I was looking on my blog, on my YouTube videos, I made this card a couple of years ago. So it's one that I do sometimes come back and revisit, but tonight I'm going to case my own card, and you make a little pocket, and then you can put a little card inside. I've got paper on the back, but you don't have to put paper on the back. You can put a little card inside with a message and everything, and it would even fit something like a little tea bag. I'm not sure if that would go through the Canada Post mailing without having put in extra on, but you know, if you were hand delivering it or something, you could pop a little tea bag in, a little coffee or something. So let me show you how to make it. And then when we've made it, I will show you. Yeah, Jane, it did look like the boxes came with it. That's why I was looking and trying to work out how they'd made them. But yeah, it's on a different page. So, but let me show you how I'm going to make the card. And it's really easy. And then when I've made it, I'll show you sort of a bit of a stepped up version as well, so you can alter it if you want to. Now, I'm going to use the Smoky Slate card, and I've got just one piece of Smoky Slate, and I'm going to score it at 5.5 right down the middle here. So I'm going to line it up at 5.5 and just use my scoring blade. And then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and on the shorter side I'm going to cut that at 4.25. So it's really just like two card bases, two ordinary card bases put together. Now we are going to, what's that little black piece on there? I don't know what that is. I don't like that. So let me see. I'm going to turn it that way because then it will be cut off. I wonder if I've bobbed it in some ink or something. Okay, so we're going to cut these to make these little flap pieces, because really when you look at this it would open up and just make, you know, two flaps that you glue together. Oh, here comes the rain. You're probably going to hear it because we have a metal roof, and I don't know if you can hear it yet, but it's going to be loud. Okay, so what I'm going to do is cut diagonally on this piece, and I'm going to go from the middle to the bottom left, and on this piece I'm going to go from the middle to the bottom right. So all you're going to do is find your score line, pop it in your trimmer, and make sure that that's in the track, and then this corner you want that in the track as well. Okay. Oh, I just moved it then. Let me pop it back in. Just make sure you've got the score line where it's going to cut as well. And you're going to cut right down. Now, I don't like pushing the blade up through a corner, so I generally start in the middle of the card and go up and then down. Okay, so you're going to end up with a piece where the diagonal is at the left-hand side. And this piece we're just going to put to one side. Now with the other piece, we're going to go from the middle to the bottom right. I don't know if I can turn my volume up anymore, Jane. I might just have to talk louder. I think my phone's on highest volume, but just let me double check. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I think it's on the loudest it'll go. But I will talk loud. Okay, so from the middle to the bottom right, I'm going to do this time. And again, you line up the score line in your trimmer and the corner as well. I don't know if you can just see that corner. There we go. And I'm going to start in the middle. Okay, I don't need this piece at the moment, so I'm going to put it on one side. So we've got two pieces, and the angle is left and right. And while I've got the trimmer out, I'm going to cut a piece of designer series paper, and I need a 4-inch piece by 5 1/4. So I'm actually just going to cut a whole 4-inch strip off my paper. Let's put that one out of the way, and I'll put it in at 5 1/4. And so we don't need this piece. And what I'm going to do is cut corner to corner on this. I don't want that. Let's move that blade a little bit. Oops. Make sure it's straight. Okay, so we've got two little pieces of designer series paper ready for later. Okay, now to make these, I'm just going to need a bone folder. Excuse me again. Okay. And what will happen is we're going to move the left hand side flap to go over to this right hand side corner. Make sure it's sort of straight across the bottom, and then I'm just going to use this bone folder and go all the way along. Okay. Oh, I think the storm's going, so it seems to be just passing over. I can't hear it hammering down on the roof anymore. Now with the other one, we want the flap to go the other way. So we're just going to fold it over, make sure that it's lined up across the bottom. Are you still having that really humid weather, Jane? Is it still really, really horrible? Okay, so now our two pieces, you can see how the flap's going to work. Okay. We're going to attach these two pieces together, and they will line up exactly, so you don't have an overhang or anything. I'm going to just get my Stampin' seal and put it on with this, just because it's quicker. Okay, line those up and make sure that it's level at the bottom and at the top. There we go. Let me move that a little bit. Not quite straight there. There we go. Okay. So that's the basic piece of our card. Once I put those two pieces together, I always go back over it with my bone folder, just to make sure it's still going to lay flat. Because you have got a little bit more bulk in there now. Okay. Oh, you had rain too? Nice, nice. As I know when I was talking to Anne-Marie at the weekend, she was saying how humid it was. Not very nice at all. Okay, now we're going to decorate the front of this. If you wanted to not waste these little scraps, what you could do is just cut them down a little bit, because at the moment these are the same. What you would do is just take 1/4 inch off here and 1/4 inch off here, and that would make it just the right layering size. And what you could do is pop it through a bone folder. No, not through a bone folder, through an embossing folder. And I popped it through just to show you. I put it through the little timber one, the wood effect one. So if you didn't want to use DSP, you can see how you could get just a nice little effect by using an embossing folder. You see, so that would look really nice too. But I'm going to use the DSP. Okay. So I'm going to attach it to the front. And I don't choose which side is going to go over the top until I've got the designer series paper on, because sometimes if you end up with a bit and it's not quite straight, it's nice to be able to just cover it over with this piece. And because you cut them like this, you will get one piece from each side. If you want to have both the same, you would just need to cut 2 pieces of designer series paper and then make 2 cards, one where you use the same pattern on both pieces, and one where you use the other side of the pattern. But I'm going to have mine so that it's one of each. Let's glue these on. Oh, we haven't got any hail. I think it was just that quick little shower for us, and the sun's coming out now. So you keep your hail up there on the hill, and we'll just have rain down here, Laurie. Okay, so put this on here, and just make sure that it's straight. Make sure that we've got a nice little border all the way around. And then I'm going to put the other piece over here, and don't worry about the back of this, you won't see it because it's going to be glued down. Okay. Just making sure I had it the right way around and everything. It's hailing in Calgary. Oh, we did well then just to escape it. It must just have gone round the big hill here and missed me. I only had that rain, unless it's still on its way. Could be true. Okay, so then just decide which way you want it. If your designer series paper's not quite straight, you might want to have that piece underneath, or you might like one of the designs more than the other. I'm actually going to put it this way, I think. And I'm going to sort of tape these down. You could use a very fine line of glue and put them down. I just like to use the tear and tape. So let's get this. I'm just going to get a little block as well. Okay. So I don't bother putting it right on that little corner there. Okay, let's just cut this off. I don't want to get my scissors out, so let's just do that with the block. Okay. Let's see, which way was I going to have it? I think I'm going to have it that way. So I'll take the backing off and then close this up. I'm just going to put one little dot of glue on there, or you could put an actual glue dot on if you wanted, just to keep that corner down now that I've decided which one is going to be on top. Okay, and that gives you your little pocket. I don't attach these two pieces to each other any higher up because that just gives you a little bit more flexibility for putting something inside. Okay, let's pop the glue on there. Now I need, let's get rid of that. I need my little white piece that's going to go inside. And so let me find my white card. I have already cut it, and it's cut at, well, that's cut at 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And it has to be just that little bit narrower because of this tear and tape down here. So just check it before you start and stamp on it. But if you cut it at the 3 3/4 size, can you see how you get that nice border across the top? And I'm going to use one of the stamps. I'm going to use this one, and I'm only going to put like this little flourish on one corner. And I'm using the slightly darker grey. I'm using the basic grey. So, okay, Laurie, enjoy your dinner. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again soon. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that that's inked up. And I'm just going to stamp, as I said, just around the corner. It's a really pretty filigree stamp, this, but it actually works for masculine as well. You know, it isn't too pretty, it isn't too frilly. Okay, and while we've got that out, I'm going to just do my sentiment. Now, on the picture in the catalogue, it shows the punch around this sentiment, but actually all of them fit in. So you can choose whichever one you want to have. I've chosen the birthday stamp, and I'm just going to pop it on this little piece of scrap paper. Still in that same grey, like the darker grey, the basic grey. don't need any of those again at the moment. And so the punch, if you saw in the catalogue, let me just get it for you. When I first got it, I thought, oh, that's really quite small. I might want to have more things on there. But if you notice, they show you a tip about how to make it longer. So instead of just cutting a piece that fits into the punch and it makes that small piece, if you cut it to 1 3/4 inches, you can make it so that the tag's longer. When you look through your catalogue, don't forget to look at all these little pinned points here, because there's always lots of little tips on maybe how to do blends, a different way to use your punch, lots of little things. So make sure you look at those. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it out, and let me just see, which way am I going to have it? I think I might just put it in this way. Let's see if it fits this way. Oh, I'll have to trim a little bit off there, just to make it fit. Just because I'm putting it that other way around. Oh. Okay, so I'm actually going to even trim a little bit more off. Now let's see. Does anybody have this set? You have this one already and you've used it? Okay. And while I'm here, I also want to punch another one just in the smoky slate, the same as our card base, just to have as an accent piece. Let me find my take your pick tool so I can keep that in there. If you haven't got a take your pick tool and you want to put something in, what you can also do is just take a little piece of a post-it note. Just take a piece off and then make this sort of like a little handle or a little lever, and then you can push it in like this, except I don't want it quite that far, else it'll punch a piece out. Okay, and that way you're not trying to get your fingers into the mechanism there and poke it along. Okay, now let's get rid of these little pieces, and I'm going to pop that just in there. If you wanted to, you could pop it round this way so that you can see that there's something in there. And then just for the sentiment, all I'm going to do is find my twine again. Here it is. I'm going to take the gold one out. Cut a little piece off to make my bow. And then I'm going to just offset these slightly. I'm just going to offset it just like that, so there's a little bit of the grey poking out the front. Have you still got the rain, Judy? Ours has all stopped. It's all gone. And the sun's coming out. That was the strangest little shower ever. Okay, so that just gives a little accent. If you wanted it so that it stuck out at this side as well, just punch another one out and stick it underneath here so that you've got a little bit at that side too. And I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals. Okay, let's take that off. And I'm going to pop this on here across the front and tie my little bow. Now this stuff ties really easily. It doesn't slip or anything when you're pulling it, so it's I quite like it, and it stays put. Not one of those where you tie it and then 2 seconds later it's undone itself. I'm going to put it on just with a little glue dot, and then I'll trim it in a moment. Very dark to the east. Okay. Yeah, I think it was moving in from the west. It seemed to come over the mountains and across here, across the golf course. So maybe they're still getting it. going to make that just a tiny bit smaller. Oops. There we go. I'm just going to pop it on there. And I'm going to trim these two little ends down. I don't want them too long. Oop, popped off. Pop you back on. There we go. Okay, so that's the basic little pocket card. It is quite quick and easy to make. If you're not sure about whether somebody would know to take this out, what you could do is put a little ribbon on here. You could staple it on, or you could punch a little hole, put a ribbon through so that they know to pull it. So, but I think it's a really easy little fold to make. So let me show you how to step it up just a little bit. Now, I received this in a swap a couple of months ago, and it was from one of my sister demonstrators. We have a group of 11 of us, and we all send swaps to each other. And she made exactly the same card, but instead of using all one colour, take the little pocket out, she used two colours. So she made one side in the pale papaya and the other side it looks like calypso coral, or yeah, maybe looks like calypso coral or Cajun craze. I've got the yellow lights on at the moment, so things don't look a true colour. They do for the camera, but they don't look a true colour to me. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and can you see how she's got two layers here? So pop that back in. I've chosen the exact same things, except instead of having just the smoky slate, I've now got a piece of the basic grey, and I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to score them at 5.5 because I'll use the remaining pieces on a card base. So I'm going to just move this. I'm going to score it at 5.5 and cut it at 4 1/4. And I don't need this piece. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the darker one. It is pretty, and it's so easy, Judy. And nobody knows that it's so easy. Nobody will tell, you know. So everybody will be excited that you've given them a different kind of card. So score at 5.5 and cut at 4 1/4. Pop one out of the way. Okay, and we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to have one where the diagonal is at the left of the score line and one where the diagonal is at the right of the score line. So we'll just pop that in exactly the same as we did before. I'm going to go from the centre to the bottom left. Honestly, once you've made this card a couple of times, it's just as quick as making any other kind of easy, simple fun fold. I'm going to put my blade in the middle. Oh, and then I moved my card, so let me pop it back. Okay, just make sure it's in that track. I've got my blade in the middle. Okay, I'm going to put this on one side, but we are going to use these this time. Okay, for this one, I'm going to make it so that the cut is at the right hand side. I'm going to put the corner in the track and the score line in the track. Put my blade in the middle. Okay. Now, we need these to be slightly smaller. So I'm going to take off 1/4 inch. And what you do is you don't use like the long side, the hypotenuse side. You use this L shape and you just line it up in your trimmer and you cut a quick 1/4 inch off. You might have to turn it over a couple of times so that you've got a straight line going across the top of your trimmer. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same with the darker one. Make sure it's the straight edge, not the diagonal. Turn it round the other way. same on both. Oh yeah, okay. And then I've got a piece of designer series paper already cut, and it's cut just 1/4 inch smaller than we cut it last time. So this is cut at 3 3/4 by 5, I do believe. 3 3/4 by 5, yep. And we're just going to cut diagonally. So every time you put a layer on, you just go down 1/4 inch. Okay, let's pop that out the way. And we'll get our little pieces ready. Let me just fold up a little bit so I know where my fold's going to be. Same here. And then I'm going to attach the 2 pieces together. It is a quick card. And the only thing you've got to decide is if you're going to have the pale grey on the top or the darker grey on the top. I'm going to put the pale grey on the top this time. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to put my designer series paper on next. Let me scooch that down a little bit. And my card layer, not only my designer series paper. Oh, now I've got a little overhang there. And you see how that little grey piece is just sticking off. I'm just going to go over with my scissors. I don't want to see that. It's only a tiny weeny bit, but I don't want it. Yeah, it doesn't use much DSP. And what it does use is a piece, if you've got a 12 by 12 designer series paper, it only actually uses 1/6 of it, because if you chop it up like we're going to do with our Love It Chop It classes, if you chop it up into the right size pieces that are a card front, then it only uses 1 piece anyway. So, okay, let's just put it on there. Now can you see this isn't quite straight, so I've just got to move it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so yeah. Now here are the little pieces of card that we had left, and I'm going to put it so that the pale smoky slate goes on top of the basic grey, and then we would have, oh, I think I need to cut a bit more off that. I think I might have cut it a bit too long. Let me just cut 1/4 inch off here. So that's the wonders of Facebook Live. I cut it too big. Okay, let me see. Let's try this. And if this doesn't work, we'll cut another piece. Oh yeah, that's going to work. Okay, so let me do the same with this, just on the straight sides, remember, not on the diagonal. Okay. I'm going to do all my layering first. Let's see, where did I put my tape? You can probably see it, I just can't. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is going to go on here. The darker piece is going to go over here. I like the coordination of having the 2 colours. And if you pick 2 colours that are in your designer series paper, then you know you can't go wrong. You know they're going to match. Okay, and then let's see. Yeah, I like those. But do I like it better this way? Let me just see. I still like it the other way too. So how's that new little grandbaby of yours doing, Jane? What's he up to this week? still as cute. I'm sure he will be. It was a lovely picture that you posted of him. But he looked really long. He didn't look just like a tiny weeny newborn. He looked long. Okay. Now let's see, what do I want this time? I think I'm going to have the silvery one on the front this time. Okay, I'll put it that way. So let's put our tape across the bottom again. I'm just going to turn it round so I can see the edges easier. Get my block. Okay, and then same at the other side. Oh, starting to rain again. But at least all the golfers have gone in this time. They're not huddled under a tree like the last group were. Take those little edges off. Then we'll close this one up, making sure that it goes level with the bottom. Okay. I'm going to put one little drop of glue on this edge here. There we are. Oh, 22 inches. He was long. Both of mine were 7.15 and a half. Although, you know, Christopher had stayed in longer than Anne-Marie. But they were both exactly the same weight, but they were not 22 inches long. No wonder he looked so long in that picture. Oh. Okay, I'm just going to go down with my bone folder again, just to make sure it's flat. Okay, now for the inside, you have your piece exactly the same size, that 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. It just fits in so well. And I'm going to put exactly the same little flourish on it. You could put one of the other sentiments inside as well. No, you could put like happy anniversary on the front and this true love stories last forever on the inside. Don't be afraid to not stamp on the inside. You don't need to leave it blank, but that would be nice. And this stamp, it looks really nice on the fronts of the envelopes too. I made a set of cards in navy and the night of navy and white, and this flourish just looked so pretty on the front of the cards and the front of the envelopes. Okay, I don't need that again for a while, but that will go just in here. And then I've got exactly the same pieces for the front that I cut out before. So one in the smoky slate and one just on the basic white. I'm going to offset them again. But I think I might cut just a little bit more so that I can have a little piece at the back as well. And I had a little piece of scrap left, I think. Tell you what, let me use one of the little triangles that we had left. So I'm just going to cut out. And then I'm going to layer it on the back as well. And nobody will see anyway, they'll only see the little piece, you know, that sticks out. There we are. And it gives it a little bit more stability too. It's a little bit thicker, so it'll pop up higher. And we'll find some dimensionals, which I know I had. So here we go. Yeah, I love navy and white together. And a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you saw, Judy, I was using the daisy garden with navy and white and granny apple green. And I made a sort of 3 or 4 different cards that week, all with navy, white and granny apple green. And I just loved them. Oh, just move that one down a little bit. It's a little bit high. Just want to put it down so it's not sticking onto the pocket card piece here. There we go. And I'm going to put another little bow on. But you could also put embellishments on if you wanted to put rhinestones on, or we'll have a look at some before I finish the card. Yeah, I do love navy and white, I must admit. I think it always looks smart. This time I think I'm going to put the bow at the bottom. Let's find a little glue dot. Judy, I think you're going to get these black clouds that we've got right now. It's really, really black. So I think they're coming your way. Okay, so let's get those. And I'm just going to pick up some little rhinestones as well. Okay, and just on my desk at the side of me are the cards that I made in the navy and white, so I can show you them, Judy. So this was that Daisy Garden stamp where it's one big stamp. Let me just pick that piece up. So it makes one whole card front. It's actually a bit bigger than a card front, and you need to cut it down a bit. But these are the cards we were making, and I just loved how they came out. So, and we used all the little pieces for decorating envelopes, but it's so pretty. I really enjoyed the week when we were making those. Okay, so while I was there, I brought over, oh, I don't want red ones. I've got these little metallic, some, you know, where you get the one sheet of gold on the one sheet of silver. And I've also got these gilded gems, but I think these are probably a bit too big, and my husband would say they're a bit too blingy. He wouldn't like those, I don't think. So I'm going to go with these little ones, and I'll find my take my pick tool. Yeah, it's a really pretty stamp. So, and I'm just going to take off some of these. You could put them in the centres of these little patterns that you've got too. And you could put one on here, you could put them on here, over at this side, but I'm going to put one down here just so that it sort of matches in with these. Oh look, I could put one just there because there's another one of those little gold inserts. So there we go. So that's it, just stepped up a little bit, just changed a little bit by having the two colours. If you wanted to, you could also put some of the designer series paper on the back or down the side and on your envelope, just to, you know, tie everything in together. And again, you could put a ribbon on, like we were saying earlier. So here are my two cards for today. I'm going to turn this around so that you can see the flourish again. And then remember, you could use embossed card as well to put on instead of the patterned paper. So if you didn't have the patterned paper and you only had card, then this card would still work because you're putting some texture on. So there we go. And then I'll just put the little cards down as well, and the one that inspired me, which was mine from a while ago. And as I said, I think it's about 2 years ago since I made this. So it will still be on my YouTube channel, but it is from quite a while back. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those, and I'm really glad that you could join me, and that the weather, although we had that one quick little rainstorm, that the weather wasn't too bad. So come and join me again next week. I don't know what I'm making yet, but if you have any requests, pop them down on the Facebook page, and I'm always up for making something. If you have a particular stamp set and I have it too, then, you know, we can make something from that. Or if you fancy having another mystery card evening where I post the pieces that you need and then we make the card together, just tell me and we can do that too. So thanks ever so much for joining me, ladies. I really do appreciate it, and I love sitting chatting with you and crafting together. So I hope you do give it a go, and if you do, show me the pictures. And because nobody won the little quiz at the beginning about which of the papers I was using, show me the pictures of the cards you make, and I'll send everybody a little gift in the mail anyway. Thanks again, everybody, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye bye.